الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه وآل بيته من اتباع سنته أجمعين فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله تبارك وتعالى إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض منها أربعة حرم ذلك الدين القيم كما قال عز وجل شأنه سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير كما قال عز وجل شأنه ولقد أعطينا موسى الكتاب فلا تكن في مرية من لقائه وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل كما قال عز وجل شأنه والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى وما ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى علمه شديد القوى ذو مرة فاستوى وهو بالأفق الأعلى ثم دنا فتدلى فكان قاب قوسين أو أدنى فأوحى إلى عبده ما أوحى ما كذب الفؤاد ما رأى أفتمرونه على ما يرى ولقد رآه نزلة أخرى عند سدرة المنتهى عندها جنة المأوى إذ يغشى السدرة ما يغشى ما زاغ البصر وما طغى لقد رأى من آيات ربه الكبرى كما قال عز وجل شأنه وما جعلنا الرؤية التي أريناك إلا فتنة للناس صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم والعاقبة للمتقين ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين الشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given us this beautiful opportunity in the blessed month of Rajab al-Murajjab, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have this sacred month, which He chose to be one of the sacred months, which was before Islam and after Islam was valued. About the second year of migration of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was the end of Jamad al-Akhir and the beginning day of the last night of Jamad al-Akhir and the first of Rajab, when Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam have sent Abdullah bin Jahash to go and look for a message. He gave a letter to him that do not open it unless you travel to 2 days worth of journey, and that's what's known as the Barzakh Sughra, where he was commanded to open the letter and read the instruction and follow the instruction. Along with him he sent 8 Sahaba. They were all Quraysh, the one who was Meccan. None of them was the Madani or the Ansar. And they came across a caravan which was going, and they were instructed to hold it. And as Arabs, they were not supposed to have a fight in the month of Huram. So, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الشَّهْرِ الْحَرَامِ قِتَالٌ فِيهِ. This ayah was revealed in this matter, in the Surah Baqarah. قُلْ قِتَالٌ فِيهِ كَبِيرٌ. Allah says that killing in the month of sacredness is a great crime and sin. وَخَرَاجُ أَهْلُهُ أَكْبَرُ مِنْ اللَّهِ. So the people who live in Mecca, they were being expelled from Mecca, was a bigger sin than that. And that after this, Muslims were allowed to have a battle in the month of sacredness. Before that, it was not supposed to be done. So what happened was, Abdullah bin Jahash, they were on the last night of the Jamad al-Akhir and the first night of Rajab, and they did not know, and they did not see the moon, and they decided if the moon pass on, the month start of the Hurma, we may not be able to stop this caravan. So they attacked the caravan. One of the men was killed and 2 were arrested. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, I did not command you to kill anybody. I just asked you to observe their movement. Anyhow, that case was settled, and Kufar came and says, Muhammad is now ordered, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is ordering his people to kill people in the sacred month of Rajab. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran that killing of the person in the month of sacred months, among those Zulqa'dah, Zulhajjah, Muharram and Safar, is great sin. But the bigger sin is that you expel the people out of Mecca, which is our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Muslim Ummah. So there was something historical account we should know as a part of our learning. The second thing about this night which we come to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described, glory be to Him, In the name of Allah, the most gracious, merciful, glorified and exalted is Allah, who above that evil they associate with him, who took his slave Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a journey of night from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Mecca and Masjid al-Aqsa in the Jerusalem, the neighborhood whereof we have blessed, in order that we might show him Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam our ayahs, means signs and proof and evidence and lessons and signs, etc. Verily he is all hearing and all seer. This little bit description about it. Today I want to talk about the Barzakh which Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was brought to. And certain words of the Quran prove that it was a physical Miraj, not just a spiritual Miraj. First of all, if it's a dream, everybody sees dream. It's not an issue to discuss and to be disputed about. It must be something more than a dream. That's what people were talking about. So in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described, and when the Quran matches with the hadith, with Jibreel salam came in when Rasulullah sallallahu has returned back from Taif, where he had the most difficult day of his life, and he was supposed to be grieving in the year of sorrow, which is known as Am al-Huzn, where his beloved wife Khadijatul Kubra radiallahu ta'ala anha had passed away, and his beloved uncle Abu Talib radiallahu anhu had passed away, and there was nobody to protect him. At that time, they would not let him come into his own city, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw the grief and sorrow and the hardship he had lived through, his personal life, what he has gone through. And this is the moment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to bring him to the Meraj and want to show himself, to assure and comfort and associate him with his own existence. So this verse, when the hadith says Jibreel Islam took him out when he was from Hani's home, and he was brought to Hatim in the Kaaba, and his chest was open, and two things were put in his chest. It was an open chest, open heart surgery. A procedure was performed where the scar of the incision could be seen on his body. When later on Ibn Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu described, I used to see the line in the middle of his chest where the cut was made. 1400 years ago, there's no concept of opening a living bodies, and Rasulullah is witnessing himself taking his heart out of his body, and was brought a vessel or a tray of nur, or the gold from the Jannah, in which there was a nur and wisdom in it, and it was washed with the Zamzam water. So when you open somebody's heart, it is beyond our comprehension. You put nur in it and you put wisdom in it, and taking a piece out of a clot which was a part of the shaitan effect on the heart. So we could imagine, we cannot even comprehend that when people have a heart taken out, people don't witness, but Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was witnessing it. So Prophet's heart, when it is inside the body, outside the body, and Prophet when he's in the grave and outside the grave, when he's living on the ground and he's witnessing things in the ground, in the alam Barzakh, which average person cannot comprehend and associate with. His body was prepared. A animal was brought which is described as an animal bigger than donkey, smaller than a mule, and it is the size of white animal which Prophet ﷺ was supposed to be riding over, called Buraq. Bart means light and Buraq means lightning. Now the physics and science today is talking about there is a speed light faster than the light, and that is called lightning. So this is somehow which we still cannot define. Humanity will be searching probably till the day of judgment. Nobody can comprehend what Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, mu'jiza of Meraj al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam happened. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described, Innahu huwa as-sami'ul basir. Innahu, indeed he is, who is watching and seeing. When Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is going through the experience of Mi'raj, where he was brought into the Barzakh, he is seeing and he is hearing. There are two attributes of his, and he could see when he was on the ride, when he saw Musa alayhi salam in his qabr, qa'im yusalli fil qabr. The hadith says, مررت على موسى ليلة أسرى بي عند الكثيب الأحمر وهو قائم يصلي في قبره. This hadith from Muslim 2375. With this hadith, innahu huwa as-sami'ul basir, he is watching and he is also hearing. As the Muhammad Rasulullah, with the speed of lightning movement, he is able to witness this. And this is something which we today will try to describe, we cannot. The preparation of his body was in such a way, when you travel in the space, what they do, they prepare your body, you have to be training, you have to wear a special suit. The dress from the Jannah was brought in for him to be wearing, and riding over the animal or the ride which he had, which was Jibreel alayhi salam, was riding with him. And this hadith, in this ayah, which it says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ, Allah says, indeed we have given Musa the book. فَلَا تَكُنْ فِي مِرْيَةٍ, do not ever be in doubt about مِرْيَةٍ مِنْ لِقَائِهِ, that you, Muhammad, when you were traveling on the night of Meraj, you met Musa alayhi salam. He met Musa in 3 places, and Musa alayhi salam is a very significant event in the life of Muslim. Why? He saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam witness Musa standing and praying in his qabr. When he arrived into the Masjid al-Aqsa, all the prophets are gathered there, already waiting. No announcements was made and the letter was sent, but they were there before arrival of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imagine, the Buraq is moving faster than lightning, witnessing Musa moment before. He is in the qabr, and the second moment he is in the Masjid al-Aqsa. And then when Rasulullah arrived to the 6th sky, Musa alayhi salam is waiting there for him. The soul of a Nabi, the existence of a prophet, whether Musa was on ground or was underground, this was the existence of this. Those who say Nabi mar gaya, kuch nahi sunte, he is dead and he cannot hear, they are kadhab. They don't know till they die. Actually, the kafir is also not dead, because they can have the azab qabr. When Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam put the bodies of the dead Quraysh, kuffar, in the well, and he says, did you not witness my God's promise came true? Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu did not comprehend why he's talking to the dead bodies of the kuffar, dead people. He said, Ya Rasulullah, they are dead. Can they hear you? It was a concept of the dead people, of the kuffar. The kafir thinks the people of the qabr and the dead cannot hear. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, they can hear better than you, but you cannot hear them. They can hear better than you. Why? Why? When we go to the cemetery, what we say? Assalamu alaikum ya ahl al-qubur ya ahl al-diyar. Do we not say that? And how we say? Loudly or quietly? We quietly in our hearts say Assalamu alaikum. This big cemetery of hundreds of graves in there, thousands of people buried in there, each one of them hear our salam. When our father is sleeping in the bed, we don't say Assalamu alaikum daddy, I'm here, you're sleeping, doesn't matter. The living person, you don't give salam while they are asleep, but the person in the grave is getting your salam while we are talking to them. This is something to understand. Islam teaches us the world of existence with a spirit into it. Humanity does not know about it. But everybody wants to be spiritual. People talk about the spirit is coming, a spirit is healing, a spirit is hurting. But they do not want to believe. These liars are basically the kafir. Next, the one who denied the Miraj is a kafir. Why? Because next day, Abu Jahl did what? He went to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. He said, what would you think about a person who says, I went to the Aqsa and came back over in a piece of night, which was a 1,000-mile journey, impossible at that time, intellect and intelligence and physically not possible. But today we know that we can travel from Mecca to Jerusalem in a 45 minutes flight. And a space shuttle will spin around the earth in a 45 minutes. And then we can have the stars and the light which comes to the earth in 8 minutes. From the sun to the earth. And from earth to the moon, the light will get there in a half a minute. The speed of the light, everybody know, right? 186,000 miles per second and more. So now we comprehend this knowledge. The lightning can move, and the distance, or people say, how he can go without anything to the sky and come back? There are 2 prophets which is believed by Christian Jews equally. One man name was Adam alayhi salam, that his wife was Hawa alayhi salam. وَقُلْنَا هَبِطُوا مِنْهَا فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ مِنِّي هُدًى فَمَنْ تَبِعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Surah Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to both of them, and the shaitan and Iblis, get out of my Jannah. So he came from the Jannah, which is after the 7th sky, and landed on the earth. They still find the print in Sri Lanka, the mountain known as the Jabal Adam. And Hu alayhi salam came to Jeddah. That's why it is known as Jeddah. Jeddah means grandmother. They both met in the Arafat. That is known as Arafat. So the man and woman arrived from planet Jannah to the earth. It is possible, they believe in it. And then there is another prophet who is sitting at the second sky today. And they believe in it. And they don't have a doubt about it. Jesus was lifted up according to them. And according to our Islamic belief, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam met him. So if Adam alayhi salam can come down and Isa alayhi salam can go up, why Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cannot? See, we talk about common sense, right? Everybody, this is a common belief. Majority of the world include Muslim and Christian. And put the Jews in there, so everybody believe Adam. And Christian and Muslim believe Isa alayhi salam. And one Masih is waited for. You know that? Who is that? The real Masih has already come. Isa alayhi salam is Masih. Masih ibn Maryam. Who is the Masih? They are waiting for a Messiah. Rasulullah's hadith, what he says? Dajjal al-Masih is waited for. And that will be joining them. So we know that who is waiting for a Messiah? They're waiting for Dajjal. Dajjal is their Messiah. So now Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's heart is filled with the hikmah and nur. And now Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is moving for the speed of lightning and seeing Musa alayhi salam praying in his grave out of thousands of people who is in the grave, and he is qa'im yusalli. The Musa alayhi salam could be two type of salah. We are not required to make salah in the qabr, right? Musa alayhi salam making salah. So what kind of other option of salah? Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah. Wa ala alayka ya ashabika ya Habiballah. So this was the salawat. Also ulama says it may be salawat he was reciting upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then Surah Asra. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الرُّؤْيَةَ الَّتِي أَرَيْنَكَ إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلنَّاسِ. We did not show you as a body of experience except to cause the confusion and test among the people. What we show you was not a dream. If it was a dream, there's no need for Quran to multiple times repeat and say that we did not show you as just a joke about it. Now, there are certain things which I used to worry about, thinking, if Qiyamah is not established, people are not in the Jahannam, and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is talking about the azab, he witnessed people, and there are some hadiths which we need to talk about. This hadith is very significant, and we need to understand those who say that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did not see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hadith that Alvi Sahab recited you, his hadith Tirmizi number 3234. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Atani Rabbi fi ahsan as-surah. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a most beautiful way. This is the hadith of Rasulullah. And when there are certain wordings in this conversation happen, I'm just talking about the things which we should understand and comprehend. Before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam met, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was traveling through the alam Barzakh. There he saw the punishment, and there are multiple events which were described. One situation he was shown that a person is getting punished by a heavy rock being thrown on his head and crush his head and get up. This is the alam Barzakh, mushahida, azab qabr. What did people say? Azab qabr. This is azab qabr Rasulullah is witnessing. Why? Because people before us were making salah, and those who did not pay salah, these were the people of the Muslim of the before, and those at the time of us, and the time coming among us. This will be the punishment of person who will be not praying salah, not observing salah. This is the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inshallah, we'll talk about it in a moment. So, this person was getting his head crushed with a heavy rock, and then it reforms. And then his body come back again, and that get crushed again. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, asked Jibreel salam, what is the punishment of this person? Jibreel says, Ya Rasulullah, this person was not observing salah, and when he would perform salah, he will perform salah with laziness. He was lazy about the salah. This is the punishment of laziness. And then he came across And Nabi Wasallam said, As-salatu Meraj al-Mu'min. So if Miraj is not being honored by a believer as it's supposed to be, it becomes a punishment for the believer. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe to those who make salah. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. So, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. Salat abstain you from the fuhsh and the vulgarity and nudity, and it becomes the woe of the person if they perform it without intention and without purity and conviction. So salat is something very important. Second thing, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam came across people who had a nail made of copper, their body nail, and they were scratching on themselves. They were scratching their face and their flesh from their own hands. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam asked Jibreel, what is this punishment for? Now this is not that Rasulullah did not comprehend. He is the guest to be shown all these things, and he is aware of it. His question is for Ummah's education. He said, these are the people who did ghibah. Ghibat, Buhtan and Namina, three things everybody does. We all are victim of that. We should ask the forgiveness of the person we spoke behind their back, which is supposed to be hurting their feeling if you would have spoken about them. Ghibat is about a defect in a person's character. Buhtan is an accusation, false accusation. Namima is a gossiping, chughli, talking behind and spreading the rumors. Gossip, people like to gossip. They will tell you half of the word and did not complete. Oh, मैं जानता हूँ उन्होंने आपके बारे में क्या, अब आपके ध्यान में चल रहा है. Your mind has already gone there. So Imam Sheikh Kabani said very beautiful thing. One of the Jummah he came to ICB and he said, if you want to do ghibat, do the backbiting, slandering and gossiping against your father, your mother, your children, your family, your loved ones. So at least on the day of judgment, your hasanat will be given to your loved ones, not the person you hate in the world. Because he's going to take all the deeds. So very beautiful idea that when you want to ghibat, my father is an evil man. He's a bad person. And then what will happen if somebody says, yes, your father is an animal. If somebody says your mother is evil, then you see what goes on in your heart. If somebody says, when we talk about our wife, that she's making my life miserable, and if somebody says, your wife is evil woman, and then you will know what it is. Somebody says your daughter and your son, and everybody's somebody's daughter, son, and mother, and wife, and brother, sister. So this is the ghibat which kills us. And our hasanat, our siyam, our hajj, our zakat, our sadaqat. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says, who is a muflis? The muflis is the person who did all these hasanat and mountain of Uhud size of deed, and in coming into day of judgment, and people will be holding his cloak and will say, Ya Allah, we want justice to be established today, and mizan will be put on, and that person will be given all the deeds to these people who would say, Ya Allah, he took my money, he took my land, he took my name, he dishonored me, he backbite me, he slandered me. And Quran says, it is as if you're eating the flesh of your own dead brother. How would we feel? So this is the ghibah. So this is hadith from Abu Dawood. And this is Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said. Next place, he came to the place where people have a snake fill in their stomach. And their stomach was huge, as houses, big as houses. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says, this is hadith from Ibn Majah. These people used to eat interest earning. Riba. People who eat interest earning will have a stomach full of a snake, and that will be, and another place, those who are miser, and the wealth will be turned into a serpent with a poisonous head, and will have a sting and take his face and wrap around his neck and bite him from the mouth. And the next place he came through, he came about a people whose tongues and lips were clipped with the iron scissors. He asked, who are these people? Rasulullah was told, these are the wa'izin, the lecturer, the speakers who go out and do the khutbah and bayanat, but they do not practice it what they say. And then he came across the people, the fifth group of people who have their private parts with the dirt and flesh hanging off of them. They were told these were the people who were not coming to their spouses and were going to haram place to do the zina and other way to satisfy their desire. And then there was a group of people who would have wealth and did not pay zakat. They will be also with this situation. Along with that, their wealth will be made a snake, and that snake will be put in their neck, and that will be biting on their face. And this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Imran, سَيَطَوَّقُونَ مَا بَخْلُوا بِهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. That will become a talk, a wrap around in their neck. So this was how he came across. Then he came across people who were having a cooked food and good clean food, and they were eating dirty food, a rotten meat. And they were the example for those who were doing zina. So this is the kind of 7 people he came across. Now, these are the people in the Alam al-Barzakh getting their punishment. And this is one thing to clarify, that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah, he did the ruya. He did the ruya when Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam arrived to the Sidratul Muntaha, where Jibreel alayhi salam says, Ya Rasulullah, I cannot go any further there. If I go on with the tajalli of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we know the tajalla in the Quran mentioned, we just heard about it. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have his tajalla, the mountain turned into dust and Musa alayhi salam fainted. This is the Quran. Jibreel knew about his limits, alayhi salam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, if I go beyond this point, I'll be burned. I cannot sustain the tajalla of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like sun, if you have a sunlight and a heat, you can be burned. So this is what something, it was his point. Then Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam described in this hadith of Bukhari, hadith number 51 and 3207. I will cut short all the details which we just mentioned about. Then when he arrived to the 6th sky again, so what it said? ورفعت لي سدرة المنتهى فإذا نبقها كانه قال هجرة وورقها كانه آذان والفيول من أصالها وأربعة أنهار نهران باطنان ونهران ظاهران فسألت جبريل فقال أما الباطنان ففي الجنة وما الظاهران النيل والفرات ثم فرضت علي 50 صلاة فأقبلت حتى جئت موسى. So this is the description when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Sidratul Muntaha. Then he saw that it was a leaf, was bigger as the elephant ears, and all this description. He saw then when he returned back from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he arrived to Musa alayhi salam. Hatta ji'tu, till I came to Musa. Faqala, then he said, Faqala, Musa said, Ma sana'at, what have you got? As a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qultu faradtu alayya 50 salah. Rasulullah says, I have got 50 salah, farad, obligation upon me and our ummah. Qala, Musa alayhi salam says, Ana alamu bin nasi minka wa ajaltu bani Israel ashaddu al-mu'alija. Wa in ummataka la tutiqu farji ila rabbika fas'aluhu faraja'tu fas'atuhu faj'alna 40. Musa alayhi salam said, I have experience with Bani Israel. Your nation cannot sustain this. I want you to go back to your Rabb. He did not say go back to Jibreel in Sidratul Muntaha. He said, Farji ila Rabbika. Return to your Lord. So Rasulullah was going to Allah, not to the Jibreel, which some Muslim scholar, they say that he was talking to Jibreel. It was not Jibreel, Musa alayhi salam is telling Rasulullah to go to your Lord, not to Jibreel. So what happened? Farji ila rabbiki fas'aluhu, and ask him. Faraja'tu, then I went. Rasulullah saying, then I went. Fas'altuhu, and I asked Allah. Faja'alna 40, Allah made me 40. Then he says, Summa mislahu, Summa salasin. Then I went again, and he said, go back again. And I went back again to Allah, my Lord, and I got 30. Then he went back again, he got 20. Then he went back again, then he got 10. Then he came back again. Musa alayhi salam keep telling him, Farji ila rabbiki, Farji, go, return to your Rabb. This hadith proves that Rasulullah was talking to Allah and visiting Allah direct. As we heard, Allah divided his Meraj of speech to Musa alayhi salam, and Muhammad Rasulullah, he gave both a speech and the vision. So this is what this hadith says, and I do not know why people do not read it in the common open-minded. And now the other question is, hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is what? He asked Sahaba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be seen in the Jannah as if you see the full moon. And they say, Ya Rasulullah, we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, yes, like a full moon. Do you have a doubt about full moon? So when Ummati will see Allah in the Jannah as a bright full moon, where did Rasulullah met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth? If Allah can bring him into the Jannah before us, and he can show him the Jannah. Did he not go to all the Jannah? He saw the Jahannam, and he went to the Jannah, then he went to the past Sidratul Muntaha. So if he went all that far, and what was it? Just imagine, Jibreel Islam came 26,000 times for 6,000 ayat of Quran to be revealed. 26,000 times he came to Rasulullah. Now, why he would have to take him to all that far to show Jibreel? You know, the rider, the guest is invited to show up there. If you go in a car, a limo driver, and he goes up into New York from here to you, take you there, and he change the dress and come out that I'm the real guy. Doesn't make sense. It does not appeal to the intellect and the knowledge and the Quran and the verse and the hadith. They come with only one hadith. That hadith is from al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha. She said, nobody who says humans or prophets saw Allah is making a buhtan towards Allah. But the fact is, Meraj happened which year? 10 years of prophethood before the Hijrah. Aisha al-Mu'mineen came to Rasulullah's home when? 2nd year of Hijrah. Between 10 to 2nd year what? 13 years he was there. So 3 years in Mecca and 2 years in Medina. Then she came to the house. So 5 years had passed. Prophet did not know Aisha. He knew her father. He said that, Ya Rasulullah have seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, he saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, Rasulullah saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the akabirin of the Sahaba, everybody says that Rasulullah have seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something as a Muslim have a belief that if Allah wants to show himself, he can show him. If Rasulullah saw Allah in dream, what's the big deal about repeatedly mentioning? You know, a dream is a dream. But then what happened when he arrived back, people asked him that they all knew, Mecca people knew, he lived among Meccans. He never went to Jerusalem. He have never been to Masjid al-Aqsa. So they thought, show us the description of the Masjid al-Aqsa. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted the hijab. Now, and Rasulullah said, every time they asked, and I could tell them which area is what. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam described them the image and the picture of Masjid al-Aqsa all around, and they could not deny, because those who have traveled, they knew about it. So this is our belief that the Miraj was a physical experience of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we don't need to argue about it. Those who do not want to believe, they should know that the kuffar were the one who had a doubt about it. We did not. Those who believe, they called Sadiq. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala get the title of Sadiq. Why? He said, no, it is impossible to Abu Jahl that nobody can go to Jerusalem and come back. He said, you know what? Your Sahib Rasulullah is saying. He said, if he is saying it, then it's true. He said, why? He said, because I believe every day Jibreel bring Quran to him. Why would he not be taken to Masjid al-Aqsa if he wants to? So our belief with the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is ahsan. It's beautiful. And we do not make any exaggeration. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept us and our gathering. And this is a moment of celebration because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought us the gift. One of the gift was Salah. Second gift was last 2 verses of Surah Baqarah. The third gift was promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any one of your ummah who believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, Allah will forgive him. So we should be observant of the salah. We should be very respectful for the observance and to be dressed. خُذْ زِينَتُكُمْ عِنْدَ الْمَسْجِدِ كُلِّ مَسْجِدِ. Take the most appropriate dress when you come to the salah. Do not just come in sleeping. You know, often people come in sleeping clothes. Imam Ahmad Rada, may Allah bless his soul, he used to very well dress and wear his imama and do the best dress when he performed the salah. Why? We are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Malikul Mulk. So we should be respectful, be careful, and salah was made easy for us. Make a wudu, simple. Simple, very quick wudu. If you cannot for some reason, make tayammum and make the salah. What are the conditions of tayammum? Alvi Sahab can explain you, I don't want to go into detail. Salah should not be missed. It is one thing we cannot miss. Just one more point before we leave. As a Muslim today, and always, we should make a lot of money. We should be rich in the world. Why? Out of 5 faraid, shahada, siyam, salah. 3 things you can do without money. Hajj and zakat you cannot do without money. And we should take care of our own. We should spend on our family so that we will not be eligible for zakat. We should spend on our family, for parents, for children, for wife and children and brothers and sisters, so that we will not have enough money to pay zakat. And if we do pay zakat, we should just give it to our family first, take care of our loved ones, so nobody will be depending and asking, panhandling others. And right now we have the most desperate situation in our brothers in Sham. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says, Allahumma barik lana fi shamina wa yamanina. And he says, Tuba lil ahl Sham. He made very many dua for people of Sham. North Syria, people are not getting much help. Make sure we spend money upon them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept us. And this is the very beautiful moment. We should reflect upon it. We should gather, and inshallah we should share this information with our loved ones. I try to not to get emotional, just to talk about the logic in every hadith. I have actually reference for all the hadiths and all the one which I have mentioned here. If anybody interested, I have this thing for you now. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil